All right, we are live.
Yeah.
All right, so I think I'm kind of excited, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Ascent session. So, yeah, I'm really excited to have you all because you see today's topic is one of the most, a topic that almost every beginner in tech is asking right now. Okay, so my name is Prince, and I'll be your anchor for this session today. So before we dive in, I just want to appreciate all of you for showing up today and for everyone I'll be connecting, right? So here at Ascend, we believe that learning tech is not just about coding, it's about community, it's about growth, it's about real conversation that can guide your journey. Okay. So now the question of the day is software engineering still worth it in 2025? Okay, so I know many of us here in Africa and beyond, different places in the world, we've heard this thing like, you know, AI is about to take over coding jobs, or tech is no longer profitable. This has been like the cliche of the society, and more of what people have been saying out there. Okay, so some of you even wondering if you is still like a good idea or a good choice to start a tech career in 2025. Okay, so today we are going to like unpack the truth about everything you've heard, everything you have assumed, everything that people have told you about tech and about the current trends, AI and the rest. Okay, so to help break this down, I mean to help us have real life discussion, real life experience, we have two amazing speakers with us. Okay, and they are both senior engineers with several years of hands-on experience, right? I don't mean LinkedIn experience. I mean hands-on experience, and I can prove it because I've known them for a while right now. Okay, so help me welcome Ben and Bez. These are two people that will help
Thank
us
you.
unpack the truths. Yeah, thank you guys. You guys are welcome to this session. All right, so I won't be saying so much about them because it's always best to hear straight from the source, just hear from them. So I'll just give them the platform to introduce themselves and tell you briefly about who they are and what they do before we jump into what today's conversation is about. Okay, so over to you guys. I don't know who is going first, whether it's you, Ben. Okay, Ben, go first, then Bez.
All right, that's fine. Yes, so good evening, everyone. My name is Benjamin, like he has said. I'm a senior software engineer and I actually fit the whole grass to grace, story. So I started off writing code a very long time, and in the past 10 years, actually, I have worked on several projects. I've worked with several companies. I've worked with several brilliant and intelligent people, both juniors and seniors, and even architects. So I am bringing a depth of knowledge to this call and to explain to everyone the relevance of software engineering in the modern day. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you. I'm so excited to have you here today. You guys can see it. Several years of experience, right? So this is not grammar. We're not speaking grammar here. We're talking of real experience. Okay, so guys, if you're connected, I will also want you to hit the comment section before Bez introduce himself. Hit the comment section, say hi, tell us where you're connecting from, tell us where you're coming from, and if possibly have any question before we go into the question session, you can just drop your question as well. Okay, so thank you so much, Ben. You're welcome to this session. Over
Thank
to
you.
you, Bez. Let's hear from you.
All right. So my name is Bezalio, and more commonly known as Bez because apparently my name is a bit difficult to pronounce for most people. So Bez is, I think it should be easy enough. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm. I mean, right now I'm based in Rwanda, but I started my career as a software developer in Nigeria, and I actually like started software development in Nigeria, but I didn't. I continued it in Nigeria, but it was during school here in Rwanda that I figured out that I actually wanted to take on this software development stuff. And yeah, started off with C Sharp .NET. I don't think it's a common first language for a lot of people because I heard that most people kind of start with JavaScript and Python. I started with C Sharp and went deep into C Sharp, and I'm still doing C Sharp very much like deep in C sharp and yeah, more active in .NET, open source, and
More
.NET
of
developments. Yeah.
yeah,
So I hope I can bring some knowledge to the panel here. Uh,
of course, of course.
yeah,
Mm.
Of
we'll
course,
see. We'll
I'm
see.
happy to have you here. I'm happy to have you guys here. Like I'm so
Thank you.
excited right now. I'm so
Thank
excited.
you.
Thank you guys. So you are a Microsoft guy. It's cool. It's cool. It's quite fine. So people have different background. I think the last speaker in our last session, he told us that he started with Java, right? So and people have different background where they started. I started with JavaScript, okay, and everybody have their different experience starting. And when people are trying to give you a breakdown of their experience, it all boils down to how they started and where they started from. But no matter where you're starting from, what matters is how much you're able to, invest your time, invest your resources in solving problems. Okay. So thank you so much,
Yes.
guys. Thank you, guys. I think we have the right kind of people, the right speakers for today's session. I must appreciate your presence here. Thank you so much. Okay. So you see, you see. Now, the big question is this: we are, you know, doing a whole lot of research. We are doing a whole lot of research, trying to reach out to beginners, trying to find out most of the things that they are finding difficult in our time. Okay, in the industry right now. So the big question we're exploring today is software engineering still worth it in 2025? And you see, a lot of beginners are wondering if it still makes sense to chase this path, especially with a lot of AI tools everywhere, and people are saying that coding is becoming automated. Today, if you just type ChatGPT, if you tell ChatGPT, help me solve this, help me build a website, help me develop this, ChatGPT can give you very nice output of code that you can use. Okay, so but before we even you know uh, get into whether it is worth it or not, let us like ask this question: what exactly does a software engineer do in 2025 compared to before? Okay, so if you look at it right now, there are things that a lot of things have changed in the industry, like because back in the days many people thought that software engineering was just about code, writing code, typing code. But today, looking at the kind of cutting edge technologies and innovations around the world today, things have shifted. Engineers are no longer just writing codes. Okay, so they are working with AI chatbot, they are working with, for instance, copilot, they are working with a whole lot of tools to solve real life problems, to solve business problems. They are building systems that scale. Scalability problem is coming in. People are collaborating across team. Collaboration is also becoming a skill right now. For you to get a job in tech today, you need to have a very good experience with GitHub and so many other collaboration tools more than ever before. So I would like to throw this question to you guys. In your experience, how has the role of a software engineer changed over the years? Let's say from 2015 to 2020 and now 2025. And what should engineers understand about what the job really looks like today? Okay, so I need you guys to look at this question and give us your sincere insights and feedback. So Bez, maybe you can start.
For me, I probably do hope that the year 2025 we're obviously still developing software for sure, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And for me, in my opinion, I think what has probably changed is the tools that we have at our disposal. Yeah, so we probably have different set of tools at our disposal and more data that we can lean on. More questions and answers have been provided for us, and ChatGPT and these AI tools are basically taking advantage of that amount of information, and they should take advantage of that amount of information because these are like people's efforts over the years, and it can't go to waste. So, and we just need to find out, take advantage of that wealth of knowledge, and do the best that we can and do more. So I believe that going forward, they're gonna be expecting more out of software developers because now we have more answers available to us, and we're able to refine answers, get answers from Stack Overflow, GitHub, and put them together and provide them at our feet. So why shouldn't you be able to do more? I mean, it's not like it's kind of like the days where you didn't have a calculator. Now, once you've
Yeah.
got a calculator, what do you expect? You expect to do more, right? And now we have tools that are able to find answers for us and provide like solutions quickly. We should go for the next phase and do like harder stuff with those tools. So I believe that's what software developers should be doing in 2025 if they are not already.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So it's actually true because the expectations are now rising from what you are saying. The expectations are rising. You're expected to deliver faster than a software engineer who was building or doing software engineering in, let's say, 5 or 3 years ago. You're expected to deliver faster. You're expected to deliver more accurately. Wow, that's actually true. And there are a whole lot of anticipation around how much you can even use AI tools right now, because you find out in some coding interviews they will ask you how conversant are you with some AI co-pilots, AI chatbots, and the rest. So these are kind of some expectations that we have in our time that we never had before. I remember those days when I was doing JavaScript and then I tried switching to PHP. The entire syntax was completely different, right? So I made Stack Overflow was my friend. I can't forget that guy. That guy really helped me. I would just, I mean, I would carry the problem. PHP was very good with throwing errors, very crazy errors. Just something as simple as semicolon that wasn't an issue in JavaScript was a whole big issue. Was a big issue in PHP then. So I would just carry everything, put on Stack Overflow, perm. The next thing I'm seeing people's comment. I'm seeing, I'm seeing a lot. But the hard thing was that when you put it,
Yeah.
you still need to dig deep into Stack Overflow to check out the most relevant comments, to your problem. And sometimes you need to try out more options. Some person just come to Stack Overflow and drop anything and leave. It doesn't work. So you need to read the reviews and see to know whether it's working or not. But today is no longer the
Yes.
same. Just go to
Yeah.
ChatGPT and drop your errors, and you get a very relevant answer. So
Yeah.
I understand that aspect as well. So okay, let me hear from Ben. So Ben, what do you think about this solution as well? This question.
Okay, I really enjoyed Bez's perspective by introducing the calculator example because, frankly, that actually highlights what the change is. Originally, we have been doing a lot of things manually, and I'll answer your original question, which is following the past 15 years. Let me just use 15 years. So, back then, it was a lot more manual. We had to do a lot of research. We had to find things and figure things out the hard way. So the barrier to entry was actually very high. Now, fast forward to, let me just say, 5 years ago, we had Stack Overflow. People were using Stack Overflow. The barrier to entry started getting lower. You could see that more people from different walks of life could now actually experiment and become software engineers. And that is really good. Like, I'm someone who thinks everyone should know how to program because it increases your analytical thinking. So it's a really, really, like, you can't go wrong with learning how to program, frankly. And I like the way with new technology that is coming out, for example, we have AI tools now. They are actually reducing the barrier more and more and making it easier for people to dabble in and play around and figure it out. So I don't think there's going to be a shortage or it's something that we should be afraid of. I think it's something that we should embrace and learn how to use it to make ourselves more productive and more efficient. And I see a lot of people already taking on this activity like head on. And I really commend them because you can't go wrong with learning how to use it to make yourself better and more productive. So, yeah, in my opinion, it's doing a lot of good. It's making the software engineering field more advanced.
Wow, wow. You
Fantastic.
see it. This is the reasons why. These are one of the reasons why we need to hear directly from people that have hands-on experience. Okay, so look at it now. A beginner who is still struggling to do some beginner kind of tasks, trying to do some operations, trying to do some low-level kind of tasks, will, will possibly, of course, definitely you'll be threatened by AI, because what you are doing is really not that advanced. Okay. But when we come to the high level, when we're talking about some real life issues, real life problems that has to do with your ability to think, reason, and understand, man, that's where you see how, I don't want to use some kind of terms, but at some point I've been disappointed with AI response. I mean,
Oh, a lot of the time.
there are times I'll be like, what's this nonsense? Like there was one issue. I trusted AI to give me this problem. I mean, I wanted this to be done, and I had invested time. I'm telling you, I've already invested a lot of time reading prompt engineering. I did a lot of prompt engineering training on myself to ensure that I can write prompts very well. So I'm sure that this is not a prompt issue. This is just an inability of this AI to think properly at this point, according to the level of problem that I'm having. So especially for seniors, people expecting to go into the senior roles, AI is no longer, is actually not very close to us at the moment. Comparing, seeing some kind of real life issue. There are fintech problems. A lot of problems are there. I don't want to mention them now. I solved one today, and I know that with AI, this will have been a bit even more complicated than it would have been. All right. So you see it. I like what Ben mentioned. He said that learning programming is not just about writing code, it's about training yourself to solve problems. You want to learn how to think. Okay. If you have ever practice algorithm, some of these algorithm problems, you will really know that programming is meant to change your mind first before you start solving problems with your computer. Okay, just imagine trying to do some kind of algorithm problems, some of these data structure problems, and you don't know how to think fast. If you're not thinking well, you can't solve them. I
Yeah.
mean, it first of all, try to restructure the way you think, the way you reason, your ability to think fast, your ability to provide solution to problem as fast as possible. Okay, so see, this is it, guys. This is it, guys. AI is here to help us. AI is not here. It's not even a match to us at the moment. I mean, talk more of replacement. It has not gotten to that point. Okay,
Mhm.
of course there are pretty good AI tools out there, but if they were as competent as we are claiming, I mean, the kind of way we are rating them, we actually overrated them on some things. Yes, they are good, but not in everything. Okay, so there is a whole lot of opportunity for you to come into the tech space, start building. But look at it, don't end in just building the basic things. If you are in the basic level, then AI is gonna replace you. AI is gonna replace you at that level. So you need to scale up, you need to scale up, you need to come up, right? So thank you so much. Like, I love the feedback so far, and I'm encouraged about it. I'm quite encouraged, and I believe that listeners are also following. And guys, if you have any question, drop it on the comment section. We're going to look into your questions and make sure that we address them. And I believe you are gaining a whole lot of value from what we are doing right now. Please, this is kind of informal, and I know there's a reason why we're keeping it informal. We want to make it at a low level for beginners. So if you guys want us to start speaking a whole lot of big grammars about tech, I mean, I won't be the last. Ben will not be the last. Bez will not be the last. I mean, we are going to throw it up here. We have them. We have them. We have a lot of them. But I just want this to be very much informal, so that some people out there who are trying to find a path, find their place in tech, can actually feel encouraged to move on. Okay, so we are still in the AI issue, because I think that's one of the major challenge that people are having. When that question of, is software engineering still worth it in tech? The only problem is because ChatGPT started writing codes. Some of these AI co-pilots started writing codes. That's actually the origin of this question. If not, there wouldn't have been anything like this question in the first place. So when you hear this kind of question, know that we're targeting AI. It's actually AI and the influence of AI in tech that we're looking at right now. Okay, so one big question is, a lot of beginners are asking, is artificial intelligence, like they're asking about AI, trying to find out. We've all seen tools like, GitHub Copilot. I think I met one. It's called Trey. Trey is very good, and so many of them, ChatGPT, and all the smart AI assistant that can literally generate code in seconds. We are not doubting it. They can do it in seconds. I can't write faster than AI. I'm not bringing myself to that level, and I doubt if any human being can do that. Okay, so people are wondering, does this mean that software engineers are no longer needed the way they used to be? That is it. Is it that are they no longer needed the way they used to be? Has AI actually replaced some coding tasks? Even if it is not everything, are there some tasks, some things that AI has replaced? Okay. Or is it simply changing the way engineers work? Maybe making us more productive or even shifting what the value is in the industry. Okay, so I want to hear your thoughts. Has AI or Copilot and the rest replaced some coding tasks or just changing them? Are they improving or are they replacing? So if there are some tasks that have been replaced, you can mention them. Or if there are some that have been changed or how much they have been improved, some real life experience, real life insight. So maybe Ben, you can take this. You can start.
Okay. Yeah, I think AI, personally, I'll speak with my own experience. AI has actually changed how I code with respect to the boilerplate. Like, boilerplate is something that I'm sure every engineer would agree with me is annoying because it's so repetitive. You have to do the import, do the HTML, you have to do a lot of things that should just be there. But AI helps imagine what you want to do and put it there. So it gives you a foundation that you can just start on.
Yeah.
Like something I do personally, if I want to implement a UI design, I take a screenshot of it and tell the AI to generate the base HTML. And when it does that, I put it in my code and start editing it. So that has eliminated a whole waste of time that will come from me doing a lot of it. It just makes a lot of things more straightforward. But I'm not going to say that it's it's rightly replaced the task. It didn't replace them. It only made the starting point a lot more accessible to people, to everyone. Yeah, so that's my own experience of using AI. It really does that. However, just like you mentioned before, when it comes to more complex tasks, AI actually falls apart because it's just a robot. It cannot think yet. So it falls apart in many of those scenarios. But for the beginning task, for the smaller task, yeah, it actually does change the amount of effort you need to put in to building those mundane things.
Okay, can you
Yeah.
hear me? I think my network is
Yes.
breaking. Okay, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. So that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to replacement, I mean, AI has not really replaced. It's just making things better. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's truth. It's truth. But how much you understand this is also like proportional to your level of growth and your level of experience. Well, maybe we'll talk about this later. Let's Bess, please. Can you go on and say something?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, I agree with what Ben said. Like, I don't think like AI is actually like really replacing. I haven't seen any AI replacing like actual software developers that are really doing their job properly. Maybe they have been
Yeah.
downsizing or stuff, but it's probably because more people have become more productive. But it's not really replacing them. They just have like more. Those people could obviously move to other like companies or maybe start new ventures. So maybe there are more problems that still need to be solved, and we need those developers. So I don't think it's really actually replacing them. It's more like just changing how we work, redistributing like our efforts and maybe reducing our efforts, or maybe even making us work more harder because you give it something and then it changes something entirely. Maybe you so how is some people actually giving AI power to actually change their code base, and maybe AI goes and mixes something up. So maybe it could make things harder or it could make things easier. So it's up to
That's
you.
risky.
Personal experience.
So,
Personal experience.
Uh,
so
I
yeah.
saved my git.
So yeah, you have
yeah.
to
So
do with it what you can. So you have to be in control with the tool. You
Yeah.
not let the tool just
exactly.
control everything
That moment
entirely.
for me was what showed me that AI is not there yet. Like it's created styles, it's created
Ah
new
man.
unrelated.
Like, exactly. There's this AI chatbot I have. I have it connected to my editor, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I do before I start writing anything, or even asking this AI to do anything. I'll tell the AI in my prompt, please don't change my code base. Just give me suggestion in the chat box. Yeah, that's my first line. I'm telling you, that's the first thing I write before ever telling
Yeah.
anything. Before ever saying like suggest this or do this. Yeah, of course. Please don't change anything. Just go through because this.
Yeah.
But for those days, it was just Git stash that helped me. I just cleared it off. I just did some
Yeah.
cleaning. I reverted back to my previous commit. I mean, this was what saved me. Okay,
Yeah.
you get it.
Yeah.
So, so
So
guys,
yeah.
this is actually good that you hear this because
Yeah.
sometimes you think that it's no longer relevant for you to be in tech. That tech is getting replaced with AI. It's good that you are hearing some of the experiences, some of the things that seniors are facing, some of the challenges that AI is even
Yeah.
bringing in. AI has its own advantage. It also has disadvantage. It all boils down to how you are using it, and the experience that you have. The truth is this: for you to even leverage AI properly, you must be very well, very good in what you are doing. Okay, it takes a whole lot of expertise, it takes a lot of experience, hands-on experience to use AI properly. I think the big guys out there, I mean, the supermen are people that can use AI very well. I mean,
Mm.
that can use it to solve tasks to an extent, and not it can't replace us. I mean, at this point, it can do some basic things, but human development, I mean, your human personal manual effort still stands in and shines more than AI in some areas. Okay. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. I think I'm enjoying this session. I didn't even know it would be this kind of engaging because I, I was like, maybe when we come, it will be like, yeah, AI has replaced everything. There's nothing for us to do here. But we are not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm telling
Fingers
you, we are
crossed.
not going anywhere anytime soon. There is still a long way. I was talking to someone and I said, worst case scenario, we start learning model, we start building models ourselves, we start training models ourselves, we start doing AI development ourselves. I mean, we can't, if it
Yeah.
can replace other people, it's not just us. It's not just us. It's not coming anytime soon. Okay. So thank you guys. Thank you. All right. All right. So okay. See, let's dive into one of a lot. Okay. So you see, with the rise of these AI tools that can write code, even generate apps, someone was on Twitter one day and said that she developed an app and it was all generated by AI. I will not go into
Mm.
that kind of application, but it still exists. So, and we know that AI can automate tasks. Many people are. I'm not against AI. I'm a fan of AI. You don't even know how much I use it. I use it so much, and I doubt if there is any developer who is very fast with development right now. I mean, shipping things very fast, who doesn't use AI. I doubt. Maybe I don't know, but I doubt. Okay. So, but this is it. Back in the days, like okay, let me say this. People are asking, is it still necessary to learn programming from scratch in 2025? Because,
Mm.
for instance, back in the days, I know when I started my career, back in the days, the journey was clear. Like you have to start from the basics. You learn how to code, learn variables, learn operators, learn everything, learn how to code line by line, and then you start building projects on a daily basis. I could remember those days while I'm going through my some YouTube videos, I'll try replicating what they are doing in the video. So if the person is writing a particular line of code, I will also follow up, write that line of code. That was how my learning experience was like. Okay. But now we live in a time where AI can. almost acts like a coding assistant. Of course, it's a coding assistant. So some beginners are even asking, why spend months learning the syntax when ChatGPT or other AI tools can do the heavy lifting? You see it. So the question really is, in this new age of AI driven development, should a beginner still go through the pain of learning programming from scratch, or is the game changing? Okay, so I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Like, do you think learning the fundamental is still important, or has AI made that less necessary? Okay, so maybe Bez, you can talk about this, and
Yeah.
you also follow.
I mean, it's interesting because I do run into like a lot of cases where people kind of like skip the basics and or maybe touch the basics a bit and then jump on to the next phase and
Mm,
all of that stuff. So, I mean, obviously, it's going to impact how well you actually understand the tools that you're working with, the programming language in particular. So, yeah, long story short, I still think that you still need to understand the basics because you need to understand, you need to be able to read what's actually happening. It's kind of like I'm saying you want to study English, but you don't want to study grammar. So you might end up seeing things being written the wrong way, and you wouldn't really be able to understand or maybe know why things are the way they are. So for us to still keep like our human knowledge intact, obviously, because I mean, most of the knowledge is kind of human, and we're collecting them. I think as even with AI developing, like you will still need to like there's no way about it because you're gonna read code, you're gonna have to understand what that code is doing. Maybe there's something in particular you want to change. You will still need to understand what's in front of you. So yeah, there's no skipping the basics in it. Whether you learn it now or later, it's gonna come back for you. So
mm,
yeah.
mm. I love that line. You see it. It's gonna come back because one day you'll be forced to go back to the basics. And this is just like maybe I'm building a house. You can't start from the roof. It's not possible. Okay? No matter what, if you start from the roof, that roof is gonna fall. And it's gonna fall on you. That's the facts because you are skipping the basics. There is no foundation for what you are doing. You can't literally know when things are going wrong. You can't find out why they are going wrong and why they are not working as they are expected to work. Okay, last session we had this conversation about bugs, right? So I was like telling them that bugs are not your enemies. Bugs are not threats. They are actually there to help you grow and do things the right way. So if you are getting an error, it's pointing at you doing it the right way. That's what bugs do. Although I don't enjoy them sometimes, but as a beginner, you actually need to experience some of these bugs. And beyond just pointing you the right way, it also kind of gives you the foundation for what you are doing. Sometimes you come to an interview and they ask you, yeah, what problem have you solved and how did you solve it? What was the toughest problems you have experienced and what was your solution to those problems and what impact did your solution give to the project and all those stuff. So if you never had bugs, if you had, I don't know if anybody has that kind of experience where you never had any bug, your life was just going straight way, no bug. I don't know if that exists.
That's
I don't know if that exists as long as you're a human. Even AI write bugs. Sometimes the code that AI, I'm telling you, yes, you copy it, you paste,
Yeah.
you see bugs. Yes, you see. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, yeah. So even though we are claiming that it's kind of perfect, it's not. Okay, but it can do some good stuff, right? So
Yes.
this is where the basics come in. Debugging will question your ability and your foundation in the basics. That is one thing. For you to debug, for you to go through errors and find out if things are working well or not, it is on the basis of how much you have understood the basics. So foundations can never be skipped. When you skip the foundation of anything, you are meant to have issues along the way. Okay. So thank you so much, Bez, for also pointing out these very important uh, insights on how much we need the foundation. But I believe Ben still has something to say. So I will also call him in to bring in his own insight.
All right. So, what I'm going to say is pretty much in line with what you guys have already said. I want to focus on the fact that, yes, beginners, you cannot skip the foundation. You need to know what you're doing. Just like a writer, because ChatGPT exists, then you decide you're not going to, learn how to write better. You just use ChatGPT's response and publish it as a blog. The response of that one is obvious. People will know it's AI and they will ignore
Yeah,
it. You know,
exactly.
yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah. So you can't just
Exactly.
go from there.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Yeah, and the same thing with code too. When I see AI generated code, I know because you can just tell that this code has bugs, it has weird comments all
Yeah.
over. It is just AI, and most times the person who wrote it, if you don't have the foundational knowledge, you cannot fix it.
Mm.
And that's what's very important in our field. It's not just about writing the code; it's about fixing it
Yeah.
because many of the time you're going to be working with code that someone else has written
Yeah.
from a long time ago, and the AI is not going to understand that, at least not yet. So you have to get your foundational concepts in order, understand what you're doing, and then you can now actually contribute. That's my own take on it because you cannot you cannot jump from 0 to 10 without going through 5. So that's how I see it. And don't let AI scare you. If you're a beginner, don't let AI scare you. Like AI is not that good. It just has a wow factor, but it is not that good when you get deep into it. You understand that it's not that good. So that's it. That's my take on it.
So much. Thank you so much. Don't let AI scare you. That's one thing. Even if you don't let AI scare you. Many people are scared of AI. You want to start your career and you're scared of AI. AI is building his own career, man. I'm telling you, that guy is. Yeah, that guy still has a long way to go. I mean, it's just trying to
Yeah.
find its space. Yeah, most times, I mean, if you are very much familiar with prompts and anybody that has been using AI for a long time, you would understand that most times it takes several hours sometimes to make AI understand context before ever
Mhm.
trying to give you a solution.
Mm. Yeah.
And for me, there are some because for me to give AI the context of this project and allow it to give me a solution, I've already solved the problem myself. So I'll just go in and do it. I dive in and solve the problem. Let's say you have a code base, several lines of code, microservices here and there, different repository connected here and there. Man, where will you start telling AI to?
Mm.
I mean,
Another thing I should pitch in is that
yeah.
giving AI too much context, you could potentially leak like company secrets to like these AI
Of course,
chatbots.
yes, of
Yes.
course. They are still learning. I mean, what they are doing is that they are trying to learn from us. Of course, yeah,
Yeah.
we have generative AI, but there's nothing much generative from more than retrieval. More of the things they do, they retrieve. Okay, it's actually when they retrieve, they can generate. Generative AIs are not yet independent of the existing information in the industry, so they have to pull and make
Yeah.
inferences from the information they are pulling. Okay, so this is nothing to fear about at all. I think it was the Pragmatic Programmer. I forgot if it was that exactly that book when I was reading it, that the author mentioned that if you are a software engineer and your goal is to solve problem, you have to be very careful not to create more problem while solving problems. Okay, and this goes down to basics and foundation. If you don't have basics, if you don't have the foundation, you will end up creating more problems while trying to solve the problem. You go to ChatGPT, generate codes, sometimes you mix them up. ChatGPT can lose memory of where you were. I'm telling you, you can just forget everything. You can label on ChatGPT, for instance. I've experienced it. You can label trying to build context, trying to build your logic for some minutes, for some hours, try to make it understand the context. And the next thing, you start seeing that this guy has started skipping things.
Mm.
Of course, it's still limited to the length and amount of response it can give to you. And because of this limitation, it tries to just give you any response that is close to the solution. They are good, but they are your assistants. They are not leading you. You are supposed to lead them. You're supposed to guide them into giving you the right response and the right solution. So thank you so much for the feedback, guys. So let's take this conversation a little deeper. Okay. So we've been talking about like whether software engineering is worth it in 2025, but here is something very practical that a lot of beginners are like asking themselves. Where exactly are the jobs right now? Okay. I think for the last few months, there's hardly any project that I've touched that doesn't have something to do with LLM, right? So that's my own personal experience. So
Mm.
once I start building somewhere around after the first phase, the second phase, the next thing is, can't we integrate LLM into this and make this and make this? That's the next thing. I'm telling you, like I'm used to it right now. So before you build for 2 weeks, before you build for 1 month, no matter how basic the project is, the next big question that the next step that will be coming in is, can't we integrate LLM into this problem and all those stuff. So it's now make this kind of scenario is making beginners to ask, where exactly are the jobs right now? Okay, in the past it used to be mostly like big tech companies, Google, Microsoft,
Mm.
Meta, some of these Silicon Valley guys. But the world has really changed, right? So
Yeah.
these days, software engineers, they are not working not just working in Silicon Valley. There are other areas that are making good return. You don't need to work in Silicon Valley to make it big in the space right now. Healthcare is doing well. Fintech is also mad now. Blockchain is good. Education, edutech, and the rest, even energy, agriculture, and a lot of them. Okay. So my next question is like for both of you in the
Mm.
industry. What industry are actually hiring the most software engineers and why? Right. So I believe that this will help beginners here to understand where the real demand is coming from so that they can focus their learning and their career planning in the right direction. Okay, because I believe if you are looking at how the dynamics, how things are moving, if you're an engineer right now, let's say you're a senior or even an intermediate engineer and you understand LLM, it gives you more advantage in the industry to get jobs. There are more jobs that are integrating LLMs right now. I'm talking of even new jobs. Of course, older projects may still try to adapt to the changes, but most new products, new startups, and others, which are the places that most of these beginners will start working from. Of course, I've heard people's story where they just finished maybe internship and all those stuff, and they were hired by some big companies, but it's not always the case. Most
Yeah.
beginners start working with startups, right? You start building your career with startups. So, what industry is hiring the most? Where is the job? Where is the focus right now? Okay. So,
Mm.
I don't know who should go first, Bez or okay, maybe Ben go first. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Is there a
I
network
think we
issue?
lost him. Let's give him a couple of
Okay, he's back. He's
minutes.
back. He's back.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
All right. So before I give my answer, I want to, put out a bit of a contrarian take, which is kind of counter what everybody is thinking right now. I believe that right now there's an AI bubble, and by the next few years, maybe 1 or 2 years, that bubble is going to burst
Okay.
and things will normalize. Like right now, we are still on a peak of AI is going to, but it's going to disappoint us eventually, and we would now have our normal realistic expectations of it. That's what I think. So I think that's also going to affect the job market. There will be a decline for now, but then it will start increasing again in the coming years, right? So, but for right now that there is a decline, the industries that I know are still consistently hiring humans are critical industries where you cannot afford to be incorrect. Like correctness is very, very important. Think of industries like fintech, finance technology, or health technology. These industries are focused on correctness because incorrectness can actually be the reason someone dies or the reason someone's money is lost. So those industries, I've actually received a lot of not applications. I've received a lot of people reaching out
Invitation.
to me for those kinds of roles. Yes, for those kind of roles. Although I'm a senior, so but I know that they are also looking for juniors because those people are not ready to rely on AI as their primary driver.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. Like they're not even going to do that. Yes, I know primary tech companies, like you said, that are working with LLMs. There are actually a lot of them now because, like I said, there's an AI bubble, so everybody is trying to not miss out on AI.
Adapt.
Yes,
Yeah.
so right now, a lot of companies that can integrate AI in some way, maybe companies involved with content or anything along those lines, they are actually using AI. Think of education tech companies, maybe like Duolingo or something along those lines. So most of those companies are actually embedding AI and finding a way to utilize AI. So you as a beginner, understanding how to integrate with AI is going to do you good in your career for the next few years and probably ultimately, but definitely in the next few years, that is going to be a very, very important skill. So learn as you're learning how to develop, also learn how to integrate with LLMs and how to work with them and what are their limitations and what are their powerful use cases. And that's going to secure you a good job in a promising company, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very, very important, right? Very, very important that you understand that there are demands in different industries. And because of these demands in these industries, they define their reliance and their integration with different tools. Okay. So there are industries like, for instance, if you're building a chatbot, you know how much chatbots, some of these analytics industry and some of them, they use AI a lot. Okay. But if you're doing fintech, if you're doing some healthcare stuff, they use AI, but in a limited state compared to how much some of those guys are also, some other people are using them. So thank you so much, Ben, for pointing our attention to these things. Because as you're building your career in tech, though I don't advise people to build for a particular space. Let's say I'm building my career for fintech alone or for healthcare.
Mhm.
I will advise if you're a beginner, you have to be flexible with working anywhere. Any job can come at any
Yeah.
time, right? So, but you have to know that there is still a position, there is still a place for you in many other areas of software engineering that does not really integrate AI a lot. Okay, so we'll still dive deeper into some questions specifically about Genius and AI and the rest. But before we go there, let me hear from Bez. So, Bez, over
Yeah.
to you.
So another thing I also wanted to point out is that whilst we're trying to figure out how many jobs we can get from the like companies that already exist, we could also create new companies. And once you're creating a company and you figure out there's something you can do, you've automatically created a job somewhere.
Yeah.
Because maybe you have this idea, but you don't know how to design a product. Then you've created a product designer role. And now it's for you to figure out how to get some product designer or maybe give them equity or maybe they see the idea is promising, so you want to pitch to them. If they see it's promising, maybe they want to like work on it with you. So they'll give you their resources for obviously reduced fee, maybe even free, and they work on it, and maybe they have a certain percentage of the company. And maybe once the company grows, you obviously need to like deliver features faster. Then you started creating jobs for other developers and all that stuff. So I feel like whilst we're also like trying to figure out where to go and which industry to actually jump into, we could actually create new jobs or maybe fix things that AI has maybe fix things that AI hasn't fixed or solve the problems that we have in developing countries. And developing countries make up a like huge proportion of like the world population. and all that stuff. For example, in Nigeria, maybe I had this idea of maybe someone figuring out how to connect like the like locations together. Maybe you use a bus to go to one location, but the bus doesn't extend beyond that location, and you have to kind of like connect, go to another connecting bus stop to like enter another bus and go to your other location. You could build something that connects those buses together, help people find their way, and as automatically you could just display ads inside the app. So there are so many problems that people are obviously facing, and why not just make your solutions about that instead of trying to create maybe Netflix and Twitter or all of those things. Like create something super simple, like just connecting buses or maybe uh, finding out where like rickshaws are. I think they call them keke in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Just finding out where they are and keeping
Mhm.
track of them, like invoicing. Maybe there's someone at uh, the central station that wants to like track the rickshaws that are over there and whether they are paying their taxes and all of that stuff. Like so many problems that you could just solve. You just need to get out there and figure out how to solve those problems. Solve them, make it as simple as possible, and then you've created a job for yourself. You don't need to necessarily wait for someone to actually just give you a job. But obviously, there's obviously the thing about income. So if you could also try to figure out some other thing that's probably not software development that you could use to like make your income, and yeah, go from there.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So this is it. I think starting when we are starting this, we mentioned the fact about critical thinking, right? So your ability to thrive in the industry is actually heavily dependent on how much you can solve problems. That's just basically the summary of everything. Okay. The reason why a company will pick a developer A and leave developer B is just about how much they can solve problems better. Okay. Yes, we can solve problems, but how good are you? How can you solve it better than the next person? Right? So these are things that you need to focus on. These are things that you need to look at, right? So it's not about whether it's still worth it to learn, it's still worth it to take a career in tech, whether you still want to be hired in a particular industry or go into the other industry. As long as you are innovative, you can build for yourself, just like Bez have said. And then you can also build solutions and make yourself relevant more than what people are getting from AI. Okay. So thank you so much, guys, for this. I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll look into something else. We are running short of time, and this session is actually very, very interesting. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really, really enjoying it. So, but
Yes.
let's still take yeah, let's still take maybe one or two. Look at one or two before we end. Um, we usually do it just for 1 hour, so we can just end after 1 hour or at 1 hour. So let's take a few questions more. So now let's look at something now. This is something that's on the mind of almost every beginner uh looking to enter tech this year. Okay. So we've been hearing different opinions online. People have reached out to me. They've also reached out to some of my colleagues. I've seen questions, I've seen comments. Sometimes when I go through articles online and people's posts online, some say companies are cutting back on junior roles because they prefer experienced engineers. Okay. So while others argue that fresh talent is still very much in demand. I think Ben mentioned this in his comments that some industries prefer to hire juniors than go for AI. So this is also what we have to look at this time. So in 2025, what's really happening? Okay, is the demand for juniors shrinking? Is it reducing, or is it actually like growing in certain industries? Maybe there are industries that are hiring juniors more, and some industries are looking at for seniors. Of course, I understand that there are some critical problems and some critical solutions that need a hands-on. Okay, I've gone to some interviews, and beyond you solving I'm a senior, right? I must be sincere and I must say that I don't pass all interviews, like I don't get all jobs. Okay. And sometimes, most of the times, the reason is that they want someone who has worked in that particular industry for a long time. Okay, so for instance, let's say fintech, they want someone who has built fintech products for 3 years, for 4 years. Not just, of course, you may possibly be in other industries doing well, but because of maybe the state of their project, maybe the kind of demand and the kind of feedback they've been getting from their users and all those stuff, so they need someone who just moved from one project to the other. I can also remember one of the jobs I got, one of the project I built, I think that was last year or so. The reason why the founder of that product wanted me to work on it, because he saw my portfolio, he saw a particular project I worked with, and it was something very related to what he's doing, and he wanted me in that project. That was the reason. So he's not just
Yeah.
looking for a senior, he's also looking for someone who has done something very, very, related and close. Okay. So let's look at this. Is the demand for juniors, is it shrinking or is it growing, or are there industries that are looking for juniors specifically or looking for seniors and all those stuff? So I would like to hear your take on this. Maybe I think best, I think you can go
Yeah.
first. Mm.
Yeah. So, like I said, it depends on the company and what they're actually looking for. Maybe some companies have the capacity of actually hiring like more developers, and obviously in the process of hiring more developers, they might hire like a couple of juniors just to make sure that they have people that are up to speed on like the
Yeah.
business processes of that company. So maybe you have like maybe a vertical SaaS company, a company that's solving a specific problem in construction, or maybe even national health or government services. They'll probably need people that are working there for a long time just to make sure that services are running as expected, and they're able to obviously add more features to their products. And so you have to actually, it's not just about going to any company and just looking for like junior developer roles. It's more like, do this company need these developers? Are there roles open? And yeah, so they're also looking out for that as well. They're looking out for whether you're capable of actually solving their problem as well. So also, and it's not the matter of being junior. It's not exactly straightforward. What do they mean by junior? Is it like maybe 2 years of experience, or maybe like 5 years of experience as a junior or something? So it depends. But at the same time, that you're trying to find out people who are able to do something specific in the company. So what you're able to do as a junior in one company might not be the same thing you're capable of doing in some other company. So I think
Yeah.
that kind of fits. You kind of have to like find that fits between you and the company.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think it's based on the strength of the product sometimes. So, like
Yeah.
you have mentioned, what a junior, yeah, some industries need juniors, while others need seniors. So, I've also seen some products that want me to work on their projects, and sometimes
Mm,
their budget is very low, and I'm asking, okay, what do you want to work on? They point out some of the things. I said, it's not better you get juniors. You want to work on MVP, you're looking for a senior. I don't think
mm,
you really need seniors.
yeah.
You can just get a junior to fix what you want to do. And when you have tried out your product in the market, and then you get some challenges that are beyond the junior roles, you can get a senior, because see that your budget is low. Are you seeing it? So there are so many startup founders out there who can't afford seniors, not just because they don't have the money, but they are not ready to spend such amount of money on their project at that state. Okay,
Yes.
so if you are a junior, you can look out for some of those, startups that are building MVPs, and it's a great way to start. I'm telling you, if you build a product from scratch, the experience is not always the same as joining a project that has been existing. Sometimes there are experiences that you miss when you start a project, when you join an existing project. So I advise juniors, join projects that are just beginning from scratch, so you can see how to set up things. you may not be a DevOps engineer, but you need to have some experience of architecture, design, have experience of CI/CD, have experience of how to bootstrap products and see how they are built from scratch, and not just coming somewhere in between the development phase to start doing things. Okay, so there are see a whole lot of, like you mentioned, a whole lot of people are still there looking to hire out juniors. There are a lot of junior roles. MVPs are everywhere for some of these VCs, venture capitalists, some of those YC, and some of them. If you go there, you see a lot of founders looking to attend accelerator programs, and they just need something to show for it. They just need something to demo. They don't really have a lot of money to. They are expecting that when they get funding, they can hire people and a lot of people to start working on them. So this kind of people, you can pitch yourself around them. One thing is that don't place yourself as a senior when you're a junior, because it will show when the interview hits you, when the job hits you, when the project hits you. It will actually show what you are made of. Your experience will show. Okay. So yeah, I agree with you, Bez. Well, let me hear Ben's perspective as well.
All right. Yes, I actually think there's still definitely a demand for junior engineers. To be honest, the only people that really need senior engineers are people that, I mean, that are either unaware of the skill level they need, or people that actually have a big product. If you have a product that is not serving up to 1,000 or 100,000 people, then why do you need a senior engineer? The reason most people search for a senior engineer is because they realize that their product is getting to certain limits that their current
Yeah.
engineers cannot handle. Yeah, so they go for someone who has the experience to do that. Yeah, and there's no shortage of upcoming projects and MVPs. So there's definitely, you just need to know where to look. There are a lot of websites, there are a lot of job boards that focus on entry level jobs to get you into the industry. So it's really plenty and a lot. Some are good paying, some are even willing to relocate you. There's a lot, trust me. Like AI
Yeah.
hasn't got to that part yet. So yeah, we can actually get something relevant, someone who is beginning. And you, now here's the thing, you have to actually know what you're doing. A junior does not mean clueless, because many people
Mhm.
tend to mistake junior for clueless. Junior is
Yeah.
just someone that is aspiring to learn. Like you're already doing your thing. It's not like as if you're just sitting down wait for someone to train you. You're already doing your thing, but you need that experience to get your hand dirty. So some people, they are clueless trying to get a junior position, but it doesn't work that way. You have to meet them where they are trying to meet. So you have to meet in the middle. So that's the way I
Yep.
see it. Yeah. So, but if it's about getting a job, yes, a junior, like there are so many junior jobs. Trust me, there are so many that people can get and start working and doing good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ben. I think I like the line of clueless and having the skill and experience a bit. So it's good to define a junior, right? Someone just
Yeah.
opened his editor today and called himself a junior developer. Have you done anything? You've not even done anything. You've not done. You can't learn. You see, you need to go and learn the basics. Go and get the foundation. Go and learn the skill. And I see this thing a lot.
Yeah.
Someone starts learning coding today. He said, "How can I get a job? What job? What job?"
Yeah.
Even me, I can't hire you. I can't hire you at that state. Man,
Yeah.
it's not making. You need to. There are transitions in this. There are stages. You transition from one stage to the other. There is a stage of acquiring the basics that
Mm.
can give you the opportunity to start building something. Okay, I ask people, what books have you read? What do you know about some concepts, some basic concepts? If I ask you some questions, you can't even answer them. So how can you solve problem with them? It obviously means you don't know them. Of course, I know there's a place where experience comes in. And most of the areas that seniors are needed, like you mentioned, is in scalability optimization. These are most areas that I know that seniors are highly in demand. Okay, for projects that are scaling, or projects that that it will scale so much, and then we need to improve on speed. You need to improve on some factors, optimize database queries and the rest. Okay, I still remember there was this project I joined the team to work on. So their problem was just that juniors built it. They was built by junior engineers, but their query was terrible. Okay, so they didn't even know how to use indexes. They were just mixing up things, and a query that should spend they spend like up to 5x the time building it, like their query are spending a lot of time to retrieve records. Something that should do some index search is doing an entire column scan and all those stuff. So, and optimization was the problem. I looked at it, I said this is very basic, but I know that though basic you need a senior. Okay, so here some operators, this in this kind of queries, look at the best operator to use. These are the best way to combine your operators. These are the best way to do your indexing. Index is good, but in some areas you don't have to. When you have a lot of indexes in your database, updates, especially when your project does a lot of updating than creating and reading. So when you are reading a lot, we know how good indexes are good when you are reading a lot, but when you are doing a lot of updating, it's not very good. So gave them some hints and all those stuff, and that was all. Okay, and then most times when a company hires a senior, most times they can hire three juniors. You see it. So these three juniors can be working under the senior. Sometimes some company hire just a CTO and everything else are juniors. They hire a CTO. The CTO sits ahead of them, reviews their PRs, goes through their code base, does what he does is just to review PRs and merge PRs. If they're not in line with their pattern and all those stuff, he discards them. Okay, so juniors are so much in demand. We need them, but just that what people call juniors are not juniors in the real sense. Okay, yes, exactly. Some people are calling
Yeah.
them, I'm a junior developer, I can't find job. But you can't you can't solve any problem. You can't solve any problem. Your portfolio is still very empty. You see it,
Yeah.
you don't have any real life project in your portfolio. You're calling yourself a developer. What have you developed? You understand the fact. So all these things,
Yeah.
these are factors that beginners need to start considering. At what point do you start calling yourself a developer? And then at what point do you even start looking for job? Okay. So and then I see people, you are a developer, you are seeing a job of 100K dollars per month. I'm sorry, per year, a senior role, and you're jumping on it, killing yourself, trying to get the job. How can you get that job? It's not real. You see, it's not meant for you, it's for seniors. So some of them are just moved by the high salary jobs they are seeing in the internet, and some of them don't even know how to filter jobs yet. You see jobs made for people in the UK and US, you look at location before you even apply, and some of those things. I think of these days we are going to look into them, but the truth is that juniors are very much in high demand. When you go on LinkedIn, that's the truth. As long as you're a junior, you're really a developer, of course you'll find your place and learn. Go sit down, read materials, go through documentation, go through some projects on GitHub, try to build things for yourself. It through some project. There are a lot of open source projects on GitHub. You can go through them. If you go through YouTube, there are a lot of projects that were built on YouTube. I mean, project demos on YouTube. You see the videos of how these products were built, watch them, and a whole lot. So I really think that we've had a very amazing session today, and I'd have loved to push further, but maybe I think it's better we converse time so we can come back with the energy and insight as well. Okay, so we've discussed so many things, but before I round up, I also would give I'll give you guys the floor to say your last words in this session. Like I try to encourage them, try to give them some kind of insights and some foundations, and anything else you feel like you throw up in the session before we round up. Okay, please, maybe Bez, you can start, and after Ben goes.
All right. Uh,
Yeah.
for me, uh, don't think I have a lot to say when I don't know who I'm actually speaking to. I'll probably give something a bit too generic. I think starting out as a young developer, I think you should just try and like focus, uh, learn the basics first of all. Learn like if statements, switch statements, what exactly are they doing? And once you understand the basics, you should be able to understand how to now use those in other languages. So you're able to use more languages. And it's not just about programming language constructs, it's also about system design, like what the main function is or what a message queue is. At some point in time later, you would see those things, but you should still like fall back to understanding the basics of these things, how are things connected and everything, like trying to map flows of program from point A to point B. Uh, the same is going to happen. The same fundamentals are still going to be repeated in like larger systems as well. So try to understand flows of things. Like you see a program in front of you, what's the entry point, what's the beginning, what's the end, and then what happens in between. Try and figure that out. And I think the process of figuring that out, you're gonna understand the flow for sure, and
Well,
it's just gonna make you a better developer. Just trying to break everything down to fundamentals and structures.
well, thank you so much. So fundamentals, foundations are very, very important. Don't joke with them. They look basic, they look like they are minor, but one day they will come for you. If you don't get them, you're gonna fall into the ditch along in your career. That's true. So please don't neglect foundation. The days you are building your foundations are very important. Spend time. As long as you are committed to what you are doing, growth will
Cherish
happen
it.
to you. Of course, you see it, growth is something that doesn't happen in a day. It's progressive. So you learn the foundation. After learning the foundation, you start building with the foundations you've learned. That is what makes up the tools that you would use in the industry as a developer. So thank you so much, Bez. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate your insights, appreciate your presence and your experience that you've shared with us.
And
So thank you so
one
much.
thing I also wanted
Okay.
to add is that as much as you're going to get frustrated trying to learn difficult things, the moment you get past them, you're going to feel frustrated that you never even understood them. So you just like let things flow.
It's true.
It's like you're learning
Yeah.
programming. Why is this so difficult? And then you get past it and say, "Oh,
Mm,
that's so easy." And then you jump to something else. Oh, why is this so difficult? You go past it. Ah,
mm,
why didn't I do
yeah.
that in the
It's
first
true.
place? So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like everything is
Exactly.
gonna pass. So you should just like let things
Mm,
flow and just keep
mm.
moving despite the
Yeah,
challenges that you're facing.
yeah, yeah. It's just a matter of time. That's true. That's true. All right. Thank you, Ben. So, Ben, let me hear from you. Let's hear from you. What do you have for us?
All right. I think for anyone trying to get into software engineering and people who are already in it, but you're still wading through the water, these two most important values that you need to imbibe. The first one is persistence, and the second one is curiosity. Curiosity is the difference between somebody who will get to a senior level or who will build something great. And that's the difference between someone who will build something great and somebody who will not. Curiosity. Because you have to be interested in how that thing works or how to achieve that thing, one. And persistence, you have to push through even amidst failures. You're failing and you're still continuing. You see failure as a learning opportunity, not as a reason to give up. These two things is what will catapult anybody in your career, especially as a software engineer: curiosity and persistence. So think of it that way. When you see AI, don't think, oh no, AI has come, I have to change my career path. Be curious, okay, how can this AI help me get better at what I want to do or what I am doing? That curiosity is what's going to get you there. And persistence, don't give up at the slightest failure, because you're going to fail a lot. This is not a conventional career where, because there are many careers where you succeed on the way, but for software engineers, like even at the seniorest level, you still fail on a daily basis. Like it's part of the
Hmm.
job. You fail and you iterate until you get the solution. So don't think that a failure defines you and you are the failure. No, you're not the failure. The thing you're doing failed, so you fix it and you continue and you iterate. So just always think of it that way. Persistence and curiosity is very, very essential to
Wow.
drive through in this field. So
Mm,
that's what I have to say. That's my advice to juniors or anyone interested in the field. Just think of those two things as your daily drivers.
wow.
That's it.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See, the aspect of persistence, I was once with those days as a junior developer, I worked under a CTO. So this guy, I think it was just me, him, we were two junior developers, and he was our senior. So he will come during the stand-ups and tell us that I'm a hungry man. I say, what do you mean? Say that he's a hungry man. That he's always hungry. I didn't understand it at that point until things were moving. I discovered that he meant that he's someone that is curious. He's someone that is looking to learn something new, and he will persist until he gets that thing. If you are giving up on your career, the first day I opened JavaScript, I don't want to share the experience here, but it was, sometimes we feel like we have grown, we are now the boss, we are now the man. I mean, we had bitter days. Yeah, very bitter days. I can tell you the truth. And it was even more bitter than what you are experiencing now because you have AI and some of these things to help you. Those days you will not even see anything much. Sometimes you can stay through looking for solution, going through YouTube. There was a lot of limited resources available then. But now it's much more easier. Okay. So, like Bez have said, bugs will help you, it will help you grow, it will help you become better. Don't become afraid of them. Persist and be curious. These are very key words, very important attributes that every developer who made it in the industry, they actually held on to it. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. I'm so very much excited. The big takeaway today that you have to understand is that software engineering is still worth it. Okay, software engineering is still worth it in 2025, but only for those who are ready to grow, who are ready to stay curious and to put in the work. There is a lot of effort required to grow in software engineering. You need to put in the work. Don't wait for the perfect condition. Don't wait for the perfect time, the perfect day. Just start building something, even if it is small. What makes you a developer is that you are developing. It's not that you are having a title on LinkedIn, carrying it up and down. It's actually development that makes you a developer. When you are being asked, who are you? You are saying I'm a software engineer. You at least have something you have built. Must have engineered something, you must have built something. Okay. So your journey in tech is not about competing with AI. We are not competing with them. They're not replacing us. Okay, it's about learning how to work with it. Focus more on learning how to work with AI so that you can also bring in your own perspective because most of these models you are seeing are looking to waiting to learn from us. The better they can perform, the best they can perform is actually what they learned from a human being, what they learned
Yeah.
from resources online, from articles online, and all these stuffs. Okay, so we still have a big role to play in the industry. Software engineering is not going into extinction, is not going away soon. In fact, it's becoming better, and there is a high demand for engineers. Okay, Bess mentioned that if you can't find a job, you can't find something to do, build something for yourself and start hiring people. If you're in a situation where at least you can eat, you can feed yourself. It's not always so most times for seniors, you don't always have jobs all the time, right? So it's not all the time that you have jobs. Sometimes they lay off seniors. You can lay you off. The companies they don't have money again. They can't pay. You can go. And sometimes you might, as a senior, you can pass through some situation. I've resigned in some rules myself because of the kind of work situation. I'll resign. Not because I didn't resign because I have tons of job waiting for me. I resigned because I can't take what was going on as at that point. So there are several situations that can even throw you off jobs. You don't have anything doing and you start looking for job. Of course, the reason why people are applying, I mean, there are jobs for seniors is because there are seniors who don't have jobs. So it happens like that. So these are some of the factors that we consider in the industry. It's not a bed of roses, it's just a place you come. If you are ready to be curious and persist, like Ben has said, you are going to make it in this space. Okay, so guys, my head is full. I have a whole lot. I've learned a whole lot from today's lesson, and I tell you, I'm even gonna watch this because the values you have shared here today is not just for these juniors alone. I think me too. I need to learn a lot from this, from you guys. Thank you so much for coming in
Thank you.
to share your insights, to share experiences. There's no better way to learn than through experience. In fact, if you find any senior engineer around you, hold on to that person. Try to become that person's friend. And they are everywhere. You can go on LinkedIn, you can go on Twitter, you see them. Ask them questions. There are questions that will save you years of frustration, save you years of bugs. Some bugs are not necessary, some are good, but there are some that are just ignorance that are causing them. Okay, so thank you guys. Network with friends. If you are here, subscribe to our channel. We'll always be coming around. I also know that Ben and Bez will also come around to visit us some other time in the future. I know that. So, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your presence here.
Okay.
And I want to say goodbye to everyone. Have a nice evening wherever you are. Is it morning by your time, evening, or day? Take care of yourself. Subscribe to our channel and stay connected. So, bye, guys.
All
Bye.
right,
Yeah.
bye.
Bye. Bye.